Hello beautiful people. Today is day 9. We're almost there, almost until the end of my challenge to get to know me. I hope you've been enjoying my message to you so far. Today, as you can see, I've decided to take you out for a little walk in the forest with me, and I didn't bring my usual flower that I come with. I was really expecting it to be nice and sunny and I can just show you around a little bit because it's a beautiful day, and I just wanted to share with you a bit about my work and a bit about, you know, what going into nature and, you know, what people have been feeling and experiencing and what results they've been getting when they've been coaching with me, and what for them meant going back to the naturalness of who they really are. And you know, by doing that, I decided that doing that would be great, to be outside in nature. But there we go. So we're gonna be here in nature, and it's a beautiful day, even though it's not so sunny. In fact, I'm in London and it's been raining and being a bit sunny and a bit cloudy and a bit of everything. So I guess we're just gonna embrace what it is. And you know, the power of synchronicity, just very quickly. I've been thinking about my parents over the last few days, and I've been feeling very reminiscent, you know, just reminiscing in the days where I could just, you know, hug them and then cuddle them a little bit, feel a bit, you know, reminiscent about them at the moment. And it's interesting because it was raining earlier. I was gonna sit down in the park and do that video over there in the park, but it started raining and I found that shed that I'm under now, just to make sure that I've got nice cover over my head whilst I'm delivering this message. And funny, this shed is called Bob's Shed, and this is my father's name. My father's name is Bobby, and it was just incredible to see how synchronicities work, you know, and feeling, you know, protected under his shed, you know. Interesting. So before I go into reading some of the reviews and some of the experiences that people have had applying the work in what I teach about intuition, I'd really just like to talk about a little bit about naturalness and how when we are really aligned with our true nature, what really happens is we really start flowing with life. You know, before I started doing this work and before I was really connected with my intuition, I didn't really have a clue where I was going. I was really very lost as a person, and even though, you know, I was doing everything that was right, I felt a lot of emptiness inside of me. And you know, I was just going about wondering what job to get, you know, who do I want to be with, where do I want to go, where do I want to live. You know, all these questions started coming up, you know, because when you're growing up, you start having all these questions. What do I want to do in life? It is just natural, you know, naturally from within we start wanting to answer all these questions about ourselves so that we can build the life that we want. And of course, maybe just like everyone else, I started looking for opportunities that potentially bring me the money that I want, or just, you know, make me feel comfortable and safe and secure, have a secure job, or just, you know, looked for a stable man so that I can be in a stable relationship and have a family. And you know, all of these things are great, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But when we make all these decisions and we don't make them from our core being, and we don't make them from the heart in alignment with who we really are, it's very easy to override our inner instincts, because the inner instincts that we have are very subtle. You know, the instincts that we are born with are very subtle, and they're very strong when we are born, we're children, and even when we're teenagers. But the further we go in life, the more disconnected we become from our naturalness, because we adopt practices and strategies and behaviors that don't really serve us, you know, and they're designed to keep us small, safe and secure. And the more we go along in life in that way, the more we try to be perfect or to be in a certain way in order to be loved and accepted, the further we go away from our naturalness. And the more we do that, the more painful experiences we create in life, and the more unsatisfied we become, and more demotivated we become. And this is the result of not following our inner instinct. This is why sometimes it's just so difficult for people to hear what their heart is telling them, and what their inner instinct, and what their bodies are telling them that they need and desire, because the messages are subtle, are very subtle. And the mind is just so powerful in throwing us in all of this thought and feeling whirlwind that we get lost in it. We get lost in it and forget who we really are. We get lost in it because it's just so, it feels so real when you have a thought or a feeling and you're experiencing something at the moment in life. Even now, even during the lockdown, how many thoughts and feelings and emotions you had coming up on an everyday basis when you see the same people every day and do the same work every day. It's probably thousands, probably even millions, who knows, and we just get lost in it. It's so easy to get lost in it. It takes will and courage to go within and to really be able to face what's going on within, because there's one thing we don't get to choose, and it's our own true nature. We are born with it. This is how we are born. Everyone is born with a true nature in life, and unless we really keep going back to it and keep going back to it, bringing ourselves back to it, we're never going to be able to really live the life that we really would love to, and we'll never really be in sync with our lives and the naturalness and the flow of life. We're always going to experience stuckness in some sort of disappointment, in even a lot of pain, if I have to be completely honest with you. It is very painful not to live our true nature. We don't live our true nature for multiple reasons, you see. Sometimes we know a lot about what we want and what we don't want, but we don't accept it. We don't accept it, and we don't like it, and we judge ourselves and our bodies and everything that we really are inside. And it feels really vulnerable to be in that space of our true naturalness, and brings a lot of pain when we don't follow it, because of our minds, because we don't accept it and we judge it, right? See how crazy it sounds, that we are born with a true nature and we don't live it because we don't like it, we don't accept it, because we believe that our true nature doesn't have a place in the world, and it's not going to be accepted. Therefore we pretend to be someone else who we're not, and go about our lives pretending that we're someone else in order to be loved and accepted and receive the love that we would love to receive. And by doing that, even we may receive some love, we end up really unsatisfied and miserable, because even though we may receive the love that we are trying to achieve by being perfect or being someone else, or being a version that you think is good to be, or is lovable, or whatever, or is worthy, or is good enough, or is capable, or is perfect, or whatever your version is of your belief system. But by doing that, we're killing ourselves slowly and gradually. And the more we do that, the more we lose our flow in life, and we become sluggish, we lose motivation, and we're slowly dying from within. What is the common thing between all these people that live long age, and they look really young, and they look really happy, and everyone is interviewing them, and they appear on Facebook, and they're trying to see, how they've come there? All of those people, there is just one common thing, is they have been tapped into their own naturalness, into their flow of life, and they are flowing, and they're experiencing the joy of life the way we're meant to experience it. And when we do that, when we are in flow with our bodies and with our lives and in sync with our nature, we have infinite amount of energies that flow into us. Our creativity, we get inspired, our creativity is like skyrocket, we keep creating things, we keep busy with things that we really enjoy, And when I say enjoy, I don't always mean that you wake up every day and you want to work, that's not what I'm talking about. But doing things that are really meaningful for you, sometimes is difficult to embrace and to stand up and do, because it feels really vulnerable. But when you do that, and when you get over yourself and continue focusing and putting your energy in all these things that are really meaningful to you and are in your heart, and you deeply care for them, then you end up creating life that you wouldn't want to substitute for anything else. because you start feeling the depth of life the way you've never felt before. Isn't that the gist of life? Isn't that the meaning of life? To be in sync with who we really are and what we're born with, and live the purpose, and live our life the way we're designed to live it. Instead of trying to judge the creator, that we're created a certain way, and try to be something else, and be a watered down version of who we really are, or watered down version of somebody else. That's not the point. We are all meant to be great in our own uniqueness, in our own greatness, because it's only us who have all the talents and the gifts and all the tools within that are all the necessary requirements for us to complete it, to live our purpose. This is the way we're designed. So this is what I just wanted to tell you, how the beauty, and portray you the beauty of what it means to be in alignment with who you are and to be in flow with life. Because when you're in the flow of life, you get all synchronicities happen, you start meeting all these right people in the right time, in the right place, without having to worry about it. It's exactly what happens. So I'd like to read out a few reviews from my page of people that have really worked with me over the last few years, really, and people that have done different trainings with me, whether that's individual coaching or have been to my events, etc. And I'd really just like to take the opportunity to say that these I'm going to be reading out a few reviews, because the testimonials is a powerful way of seeing what other people have said about the work. But what I will actually say is that I was planning to bring a few people just to talk to in person, but then I realized that the work that I do is very personal. It's very, very personal. It's super confidential, and it doesn't honor the person to come up here and talk and speak, or to be on a live with me somehow, to portray all their greatest wounds and everything that's within their consciousness, and talk about their pains and vulnerabilities. Not everyone is willing to do that, and in fact they shouldn't, because it is super personal. So what I will just read out to you instead is just a few examples of people that have created beautiful results, and just reviews from my Facebook page, where people have left reviews over the last month or so. So one of them is from Katerina. She says, "Maria is a great coach. By using her methods and intuitive practices, I understood better how and why I'm making particular decisions. Her practice helped me rethink the meaning of creativity. Moreover, her coaching helped me connect with my intuition and understand its importance. For me personally, her coaching is a very special art of meditation. After every session with her, I feel more aware, centered and present. What I learn from her can be implemented in every area of life, from personal to professional development. Her tools are very powerful and can be used in every situation." Huge thanks for Katerina. She really mentions the creativity, because the work that we do, the intuitive work that we do, is really connecting you to your creative powers in your all creative faculties. And it's really hugely important, because your life is a direct reflection of your creativity. It's not a reflection of anything else but the level of creativity that you're applying. And the more we use our rational minds to make sense of things and try to fit in a certain box or in a certain way of living, we're never going to be able to experience the beauty and the magic of life that really is and that really exists. So that's a beautiful example. Katerina is saying, "Maria is a force of nature that will make you see your truth and help you navigate to where you want and need to be. She is passionate, highly intuitive and very kind. She is generous with her time and energy and makes you feel at ease. Highly recommend her." Thank you, Katerina, if you're listening to this. Natalia is saying, "Maria's session was incredible. She has many amazing techniques and such in-depth understanding of many different subjects. She is a very approachable person and has a unique way of connecting with people. I would highly recommend Maria to anyone. She personalizes outcomes depending on the individual and masters the art of consciousness." So Natalia here is referring to the fact that all the sessions that I do are tailored particularly and individually to the person, which means that I don't generalize people, because everyone is unique and everyone's got unique nature, and I use intuition to reflect people and to really show them who they really are powerfully, and hold space for them to discover the truths, and see it for themselves too. It is very, very powerful tool for self-awareness, your intuition. Tabitha is saying, Maria's helped me achieve significant clarity and change in many aspects of my life. I owe a great many of my achievements to her guidance. She always has immense energy and deep passion for the work she does. She is divinely gifted with powerful intuition and energy healing abilities. It's a joy to be coached by Maria. Highly recommend. Thank you, Tabitha. It's been a pleasure. Tabitha is also an intuitive coach, and she calls herself a psychic coach. And we've helped each other throughout our journeys a lot, and we've worked together and given each other's energy sessions and coaching sessions. It's been a great journey to be part of each other's lives, and I'm honored to have that beautiful review on my page, because I do also owe a lot of my achievements and shifts and realizations about myself and changes in my life due to her. JJ has told me that Maria's session was profound. She's very friendly and down to earth, which made me at ease and comfortable. I had a one-on-one session with her, and I left with deep understanding about myself that I've never had before, which left me moved and inspired to look even deeper in myself. Some of the breakthroughs that I had included finding out my life purpose and investigating different ways I self-sabotage myself. I left the session with a clear sense of what they are. Highly recommend her. It's really, a lot of the work, getting all these reviews, Maria's like this, Maria's like that. Yes, a lot of it is about me, but mainly it is down to the work, the intuitive work, and whether the person is willing to work and make the necessary changes in their lives, because it is a 50-50% job, particularly for the coach and the coachee. It's never one-sided. We work together through it, and at the end of the day, it's not my responsibility to change people's lives. It is the person's responsibility to change their lives. I'm only there to support them and reflect them and keep them responsible to stay true to themselves. Okay. Just a quick one as well. Living with your intuition and higher self is the best thing anyone could ever do for himself. This is from Petya. I think the world would be a totally different place if everybody does that, and if we wouldn't need an apocalypse to be reminded of what is truly important. I sincerely recommend Maria because she's the best coach you could have ever hoped for. She taught me so much that was life-changing and even life-saving. I met her at a time when I was getting over a tough breakup, and I was feeling completely lost and devastated. I didn't know at the time why all this was happening to me, why all the wonderful things I really wanted in my life were always slipping away, and I've always created the opposite of what I wanted in love and relationships. The intuitive work she introduced me to was an eye-opener. Thanks to all the sessions we did together, I was coming closer and closer to my true self, my dysfunctional patterns. I discovered who I really am on the outside, on the inside, on a level I didn't know before. I was so swamped by my troubles that I've forgotten who I am, what I want to achieve in life, and I needed to be reminded. Using my intuition, I also discovered a new passion of mine, changing the education system and working with children. I was very resilient at first to the idea, as I studied and worked in a very different field in my life. But when I tried it, was surprised how natural teaching children came to me. The whole journey for me was so far has been truly transformational, challenging, divine, spiritual, and an absolute blast. I can't wait to see where it will take me. I'm not gonna read any more further reviews. We can really go onto my page and really see the reviews of the work that I do. And I was just giving you an example, of the power of this work and how it really has transformed people's lives, and how by using intuition and tuning to who you really are, what people can bring in their lives, what people are empowered, to create in their lives. They find their purpose, they connect with their bodies, they connect with their senses, they connect with their sensuality, they start creating the love and the relationship that they'd love to create. It's just beauty, and they become attuned with who they are, and they enjoy the flow of life. I'm so passionate, as you can see, about this work because it has really helped me along my journey massively to transform the relationship relationship with myself. And this is the reason why I'm so passionate about this work, is because I see it every day in my life, the wonders I can really create. You know, that doesn't mean that I wake up and go to bed in joy every day. You know, I'm a human being and I experience emotional roller coasters, because intuition takes you to unknown realms, to places you've never been before, not just physically, but, you know, just doing things that you've never done before, out of the rational faculties. So, you know, being outside of your comfort zone can bring up a lot of pains and can bring up a lot of turmoil from within. But when you keep going with your intuition and you keep following what is really true for you, there's all these magical, beautiful things that you create in life. You know, there's just so much beauty and magic, so much satisfaction and inner bliss and joy that is absolutely indescribable. So with all of that, I just want to wrap it up and just say thanks for listening. And don't forget that the offer for 40% discount of my coaching session is still available. I mentioned it yesterday in my yesterday video. So if that is anything that you resonate with, if you really want to connect with your true nature, find out about your purpose and really become aligned, you know, with the flow of life, and would love to create beautiful things in life, come along. It's 40% discount, and it would be an absolute blast and an incredible service and an honor for me to serve you powerfully in coming back to who you really are. I'd absolutely love having you on board, and have a beautiful day. Happy creating.